Troop and Jesper Svensson. Separately, they're two of pro bowling's very best. But together, they're nearly unstoppable. Troop and Svensson join forces again today here at the 12th edition of the World Series of Bowling. Trying to climb the ladder to capture the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship for a third time. Beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida is just a causeway away from Tampa, which is hometown of the Toms, Brady and Doherty, who yesterday won his first career major in the center he grew up bowling in, the PBA World Championship. And today from AMF University Lanes, we continue with the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles Championship, the second of 5 events in this year's World Series. Underway yesterday with Tom Doherty's huge day, doubles today, next 3 nights on FS1, 8 Eastern, Cheetah, Chameleon, Scorpion Championships to be crowned a PBA title on the line. This is stepladder doubles bowling. We start with the defending champs in the first match, fifth-seeded dynamic duo of Svensson Troop against Matt Ogle and the future Hall of Famer Sean Rash. Next up, third-seeded Andrew Anderson, former PBA Player of the Year, team with 2020 TOC champ Chris Prather. 2 young stars in Kent and Tackett await as the 2 seed, the top seed, newly minted major champion Tom Doherty and his partner BJ Moore. We can't wait. Doubles action today here on FS1, continuing the 2021 PBA World Series.
Did you say 5 straight nights?
I said 5
of live bowling on television?
I can't wait.
That's incredible.
It's fantastic. Well, that guy's Randy Peterson, the Hall of Famer. I'm Dave Ryan. We're joined by Kimberly Pressler, lane level as well throughout the broadcast. And what a way, RP, to start the World Series and the World Championship yesterday. Tom Doherty got the break of a lifetime with that trip 2-pin.
Did I not say that Tom Doherty owns University Lanes?
You said it.
Who owns University Lanes? Say his name.
Tom Doherty.
That's correct. What a way to win a major. But we're talking doubles now, okay? And Tom Doherty has got one hell of a doubles partner in BJ Moore. He may be the best player you may not be familiar with. The team of Sean Rash and Matt Ogle won this event in 2019. If Rash is the engine, then Ogle is the turbocharger. Their key to success will be on him today. Jesper, Kyle, wow, what a team this is. Best of friends, defending champs back at it again. Both of their titles have come from the #1 seed. Today, they'll have to climb the ladder to win their 3rd doubles title.
What emotion, Randy. An unforgettable celebration in Indy last year for the champs from 2020. They're joined now, lane level, by Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So you guys are defending champions. You guys are back again this year. But more importantly, you guys are really good friends. You're even roommates on tour. So how does that friendship, Kyle, this is going to go to you. How does that friendship benefit you in a competition like this?
I think it gives us a huge advantage. We really enjoy being around each other on the lanes, off the lanes. We work really well together. We're a pretty powerful duo, and we have great communication between each other. So I think you add all those together, and it makes us a really good team.
Pretty powerful duo indeed. So let's talk about the competition. Jesper, this question is going to go to you. So there are double patterns today, and you guys as a team have decided that, Jesper, you're going to go on the long one, and you're going to go on the short one. Why was that decision made?
I think, first of all, Kyle was very comfortable on the shorter one, and the whole idea behind it, what we saw during the match play portion, is that the left lane got a little ugly on the right side of the lane, so me being the only lefty, I get that side for myself and only have to worry about my own transition.
Now, the last time we saw you guys out on the lanes as doubles, you guys won this, and that was a pretty inspirational moment for you guys. So how bad do you guys want to win this again? Kyle, this one's going to go to you.
I think everybody around the world knows that we want to win this thing just as bad, if not even more, than the last time around.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. Let's get to bowling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just like Kimberly said, we've got 2 patterns. Mark Roth on the left lane of 42 feet, Marshall Holman on the right. And you're going to see the players playing the outside part of the lane and even banking it off of the edge at times. And as that pattern breaks down, they'll move in towards the middle part of the lane and increase their angles. The Mark Roth pattern is going to play in a little bit longer. The players are going to play in, adjust their speed accordingly. Remember, Jesper Svensson, the only left-hander to make the top 16 and the only lefty on today's telecast.
Bowling out of Executive Strike and Spare in Louisville, Kentucky, Matt Ogle. His partner rolls out of Parkside Lanes in Aurora, Illinois, Sean Rash.
The team of Rash and Ogle were the number 5 seeds in the 2019 edition of the Roth Holman doubles. But even so, the pair managed to climb the ladder to defeat Kyle Sherman and Brad Miller in the championship match. It was the first PBA title for Ogle, the 13th for Rash.
Here we go. Matt Ogle told us today, Randy, still remembers it like it was yesterday. His first career title, it meant so much.
Remember how emotional he was afterwards. It was great to see.
He's on the left lane and begins our doubles competition with a strike.
Beautiful shot.
Great start. Great trust.
Yep.
That's why you throw it there.
Bowling out of John Scott's Partille Arena in Partille, Sweden, Jesper Svensson. His partner rolls out of Penn Station in Newton, North Carolina, Kyle Troop.
You know, I had this big script all written out about these two guys, but I wanted to make it a little more personable. These guys stayed with me for a few days after the Tournament of Champions. And let me just tell you this. These are two of the best of friends, and they're two of the best guys you could ever hang around with. Just a pleasure to be around. Oh, and not to mention the fact, these two can bowl.
You can't watch that enough. I can't watch the hug enough from Indy last year.
I mean,
spectacular celebration.
Doesn't it just show you how much it means to them, right? And doubles is kind of a unique thing because typically in a singles, not typically, always in a singles win, it's just you by yourself. And in a doubles competition, you get to share it with someone.
Right lane for Kyle Troop and all 10. The 7-10 go down late. Kyle, a chance to tie legendary father, the always charismatic, interesting Guppy yesterday. 8 career titles, came up short. But you know what, Randy? One day, that's it. You're right back at it after his struggles yesterday in the World Championship.
I mean, no disrespect to Guppy Troop, but Guppy, Kyle's going to win a lot more than 8 titles, my friend.
Here's the Iceman himself. 10 titles under his belt. Wow.
Dirty. Maybe the most powerful tandem, those two. Both two-handers, one from the right, one from the left. With a win today, they will tie the great Mike Albee and Steve Cook, and then, of course, the tournament namesakes, Mark Roth and Marshall Holman, with 3 PBA doubles championships.
So happy to have Marshall Holman in the house today. We'll hear from him later in our broadcast. Can't wait for that. Sean Rash flirts with the channel and strikes.
I think we might have more strikes in 2 frames than we did in the first match yesterday. Of course, remember, folks, completely different pattern than the Earl Anthony pattern the players bowled on yesterday. And not only that, but we have 2 completely different patterns. Marshall Holman on the right and the Mark Roth on the left.
37 and 42 feet. Ogle's Arsenal out of Louisville, Kentucky. Go! Really nice shot.
Great start.
This event named for the legends. Mark Roth. We wish him well.
Yeah.
Recovering from a stroke upstate New York, the Fulton Oswego area. I know that North Country, know it very well, north of Syracuse. And as we said, Marshall is here, the Medford media himself. Flew in from Oregon yesterday to join us. We can't wait to hear from Marshall later in our broadcast.
2 of the greatest ever. I actually spoke with Mark Roth's wife about a month ago. I'll tell you that story after this throw from Kyle Troop.
Here's Kyle. Missed the target. 2-8 double wood stands.
Well, if you look at strike track, the line actually looks pretty decent, Dave, but you know, he's using urethane as well, and that's the urethane, that's that non-reactive bowling ball. Jesper uses it primarily, and Kyle loves using it and said he probably would early, but that ball right there just bailed on him.
high rate of success with this pair continues for Kyle Troop. Knocks down the double wood 2-8. And between Roth and Holman, 56 career titles. Mark Roth 6 all-time, tour history. Marsh is 11th. Marshall won 4 majors in his great career.
I used to emulate Marshall's style when I was a kid, throwing these small rubber bowling balls down our hallway. And then if I didn't strike, I'd put my fist through the side of the
No, you
side of no, I wouldn't.
No way. Svensson. Whoa. Going to the left. And crushing pins. Lefty. Left lane. Wow. That's power. Yes, but as usual, the understated interview, Randy, we had today with Kimberly this morning here at the Bowling Center. He's a man of few words, but big action.
Yeah, he's got that real calm demeanor about him, doesn't he? But then when he ends up winning, you could see all the emotions come out. Sorry, Sean.
Sean Roush, the future Hall of Famer out of Chicagoland now. 16 titles. This team looks for the front 4. Good shot, 10-pin stands.
Great shot.
Yeah, it was.
10.
Yeah, it was real good. And you can see that outside line right there.
Come on. Do your job. Next pair. Oh, God.
Didn't like it. That's why, because he missed it. A whiffed 10-pin.
Sorry, boss.
You heard Sean trying to concentrate, trying to focus.
Did not expect Sean to do this, and we've all seen our share of missed single pins over the last year, and how it ends up costing players championships.
Teammate Matt Ogle trying to pick him up here.
What a story Matt Ogle is. I mean, he's got a landscaping business back home in Louisville, Kentucky, and also a snow plowing business in the winter. And he told us some pretty remarkable stories about this season's storms, didn't he, Dave?
Just amazing to hear that. The good news when storms are coming, Randy, for Matt Ogle and his business, you can make a lot of money. You're not going to sleep much. The bad news is, he said to us today, he slept 15 hours in a week total. He was constantly plowing snow and laying down salt.
The guy's got an 8-foot snow plow on the front of his truck that cost about $8 grand.
Wow. He works hard. And worked hard to get here to the show as well. Close match.
Chucked about 600 bags of salt.
That's all.
50 pounds of whack.
It sounded like hard work to me.
That sounds like something an Olympian would do to train for.
There we go.
Liked it for good reason.
Take us to commercial.
Well, when you hear a player say, there you go, as soon as it leaves their hand, that's usually a pretty good sign. And it sure was, as Troop doubles up for his team. And there it is. 6 goes to the sidewall and just roundhouses the 10-pin.
Back-to-back jacks for an 11-pin lead now. And here's the Iceman, the super southpaw.
Oh, boy, get away with it.
He sure did, Jesper. He got away with it, and then some.
Well, that's what he was talking about right there, Dave. Just a little bit outside, and it just kind of hit the brakes and wheeled back. But are you going to take us to break, Dave?
You take us to break.
I'm going to take us to break. I'm going to take you to break with this. Remember I mentioned Mark Roth's wife? I got a great story for all of you when we come back.
All right, Randy, time for today's Flow Bowling Tournament highlight. We'll recap some of the other great bowlers trying to make the final 5 in the show. 2018 champs Belmo and O'Neill just short.
Yeah, a pretty good team right there, wouldn't you say? They fell just short, finishing 6th. And then those two. Heard of them? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're bowling right now. Kyle Troup stepped up big in the 10th frame, needed 2 strikes and 7 pins to lock that 5th and final spot. That's the first one. Here's the second. Wow. Now he needs just 7. And he gets 9, even though it looks like he leaves a 7-10. There you see the 10 pin goes down.
And there you see the emotion, that raw emotion that we saw, Randy, last year in Indianapolis when they won it in 2020. It means so much to these guys as Kyle Troup bids for another title. They want to win it for each other. It's that friendship and bond that means so much.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, they talked about it in our meeting this morning. It's really refreshing to see 2 players that go head-to-head each and every week root so hard for one another.
Rash resumes with a strike. 6th frame of our opening match.
Yeah, good shot there and a good rebound after that whip 10 pin. The question is, can they recover? The good news for Team Rash is that Matt Ogle, his first 3 shots have been within a half a board at the break point. As we take a look at Sean Rash's break point, Matt Ogle's been within a half a board at the break point, all 3 shots. He's perfect.
Oh, boy. Didn't like it, that's why it crosses over.
And then as soon as I say that,
a baby split.
Right?
3-10.
Right, Dave? As soon as I say that,
said it.
Look what happened.
Matt wanted to be sure that, back in 2019 in Shawnee, when they won this event together, he and Sean. Post-match, a million things going through her head.
Yeah.
The winning interview. He didn't get to thank wife Stacy and his dad, Doug. He wanted to make sure we did. Because great pickup there on the 310. They were so instrumental in him getting to the winner's circle a couple years ago, and of course, every day in his life.
Yeah, and I think that just pretty much sums up the kind of Mark Roth signature bowling ball. And he was wondering if he could get an autograph. So I instant messaged Denise, and she said, I'm still unable to see Mark at the rehab center because of New York State protocol. As soon as I'm able to see him, send me the ball. I'll have Mark sign it.
Great. We, of course, wish the legend Mark Roth the very best. Speaking of the very best, Jesper Svensson crunching the 1-2 pocket. Down they go. A man on a mission, and look at the lead now.
Yeah, they're beating him up pretty good.
Hall of Fame credentials for this guy. Lock.
Shoe in.
Tripped in, there it goes. I thought it was really cool, Randy, talking with Sean today. He said the win, teaming with Matt Ogle to get Matt his first career PBA Tour title, is one of his top 4 winning moments in his career. Sean Rash has done it all. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think it was because of how much it meant to this man right here.
Exactly. He said to get Matt his first career title really meant a lot to both guys. Ogle. Wow. Looking good.
Never know.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Miracle.
Yeah, you heard Sean say it. They need a miracle, and right now their max score is 237, and the Iceman and the pro with the fro are going at a 278 clip right now.
Interesting to hear Kyle Randy say to the 3 of us today, didn't go well. Single pin whiff on a 7-pin yesterday, but he took it well. He was able to move on. Maybe the best of any bad moment in what has been a great 2021 season for him so far.
I mean, you only learn from your failures, right?
He stayed focused because he knew he was right back up today. Trying to defend his title. Doubles it in. Wow. That's how you do it.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Pick comes
Pick
out.
it out. He's feeling it now.
That pick comes out. They picked on Rash and Ogle, and now they're going to move on and see if they can keep this express rolling.
That's all Team Troup Svensson needs for a win to try to climb the ladder here.
Yeah, they'll take on Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson.
2 big stars of the game. 7 needed. Svensson gets 10, gets a win. Kyle and Jesper climbing. They win it. First match.
Watch this straight gut shot to the 8-pin. Oh, man. So much power and so fun to watch. Right in the solar plexus.
This bowling center, Randy, the transition is the concern, but one big advantage of being the 4th or 5th seed, you're bowling on the fresh. You're right out there and controlling the transition, especially with Jesper from the left side.
Dude, you sound like you're a bowler.
It's all the time with you, Randy.
And you're exactly 100% right.
Thanks.
So now the question becomes, what will the transition be like for Jesper and for Kyle? How will they handle it? What adjustments do they make? Kyle talked about using urethane early, and when the time came, moving in with reactive resin. If they stay ahead of the transition, make the right moves, and can continue to strike, they're going to be tough to beat.
Next up, they'll take on Chris Prather, Clark Kent himself, TOC champ from last year and former player of the year, Andrew Anderson. It's next from Tampa, Florida. Come back to the World Series of Bowling here in Tampa, Florida. Head to PBA.com to check out the official PBA Pro Bowling video game. There's Kyle Troop introducing all new features, including new equipment, playing as your favorite pro, and more. Available for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and for your PC.
Do you know if there's like a section of like Hall of Famers or older players from the 80s?
I don't know, but there should be.
You could do like Marshall, you could do Mark Roth, you could do Earl Anthony. That'd be kind of cool.
278,
I mean, if you got
226 win for Troops Svensson. It would be super cool.
If you got really desperate and like all of your other players were like out or something, then you could choose a Randy Peterson.
Let's meet the next bowlers.
Bowling out of Holly Lanes in Holly, Michigan, Andrew Anderson. His partner rolls out of Plainfield Lanes in Plainfield, Illinois, Chris Prather.
Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson are hoping for better luck this year in the Roth Holman doubles. Last year, the two major champions were also the #3 seeds on the stepladder, but were eliminated by Dom Barrett and Anthony Simonson. They said this year is their year.
The World Series of Bowling continues. World Championship. Tom Doherty won it yesterday. Today, Roth Holman doubles. 3 more titles to be crowned the next 3 nights, starting tomorrow with the animal patterns here on FS1, 8 Eastern. Dave and Randy in the booth with the Hall of Famer Marshall Holman joining us for this match. Prather gets us started, guys. Whoa, way off target there, Marsh.
That's an air ball. Wow, that ball got way right and never recovered. You know, I said earlier that I like Troop and Svensson. You know, Troop missed once, left the 2-8. Svensson, he was there the whole game, never missed. So, and that first shot by Prather, that's got to be a jolt to you.
Surprising.
Now, Randy, are you surprised that he didn't throw his strike ball to try and get an idea of?
A little. I mean, I think he has a really good idea. He got it wide, and there is a cliff there, and you get it on the other side of that cliff, and you're going to miss the head pin. And so I think that he was trying to just play it safe and make sure that he covered the 1-2 because he didn't want to, you know, start with a hole and put his partner behind the 8 ball to start. But Marshall, my big question with both Kyle and Jesper using urethane, we all know what non-reactive balls do to the lane surface. What is their reaction going to be like?
Well, their reaction is going to stay pretty much the same, but they're chewing up their part of the lane, and it's making it a little bit funky for the other players.
4 pin standing here, guys, for Kyle Troop.
So folks at home, what the non-reactive bowling balls do to a lane surface, because they have so much surface and because they don't absorb oil, is the non-reactives beat up the front part of the lane. So they make the front part of the lane hook early, and then they drag oil down towards the head pin. So what happens is, if your ball reads the friction early, it's going to go high. And if you move left off of that and you get your ball a little too far down lane, it's going to miss the head pin.
Love that breakdown.
That's interesting. There are pro bowlers today that don't like when other pros use urethane.
Yeah.
And, you know, going back in my day, I was exact opposite. I didn't like when reactive came in, and we see Jesper miss for the first time, but it was a great shot.
Yeah. Tremendous pin action, guys. Somehow the 10 stands. I don't know how exactly.
You'll watch that 5-pin go in front of the 10-pin.
A tap, Marsh. Just a tap, but not enough.
Yeah.
Mark Roth, Marshall Holman made 5 PBA Tour doubles finals together. 3 straight years from 78 to 80. Won it 3 times. 77, 79, 84. We saw that video, Marsh, earlier. Top seeds 3 times. 3 titles, the most in history. These guys can tell you today, with another win, there's something else. What do you think makes a good doubles team?
Well, with Mark and I, it was a similarity of styles. Now, you got Svensson and Troop, and they couldn't be more opposite. You know, one lefty, one righty. But Mark would throw the. But he always wanted to be a leadoff guy, because he said, "Marshall, let me throw it. I'll line you up." And I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Roth. Whatever you say." And he did, because our ball rolls were similar. Mark was more powerful, but I could follow his lead.
Randy, agree with the chemistry of a really great doubles team?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, it starts with friends and 2 guys that really get along well with each other, that understand each other's nuances, differences. I mean, you just know each other's games inside and out. And, you know, I just love the fact that, you know, Mark called the shots on that team, and Marsh was, by all means, and when you hear Marshall Holman say Mr. Roth, I mean, he knew who the boss was, and Marshall just, you know, followed suit.
That's the second shot in a row that just did not recover for Prather. He's lost.
He really is struggling. 2-4-8-10.
See, then what's discouraging is that was a couple boards inside and it still went light. So what he needs to do is throw this big hook and just kind of slice this 2-pin over into the 10. The 8 will follow suit, and the ball will take care of the 4-pin.
4.
Needed to hook a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, they put themselves in a big hole. And, you know, getting back to how you get to be a doubles team, in my case, I was just a young up-and-coming player, and Mark was an established superstar, and it took me about a millisecond to say, "You bet I want to be your partner," when he asked me. And I mean, it gave me.
And now it goes for a strike.
Mark, back then, Marshall, back then there was another doubles team that as we take a look at the 6-pin leaning on the 10.
Whoa.
10-pin looked like it got hit by a poisonous dart. There was another pretty good doubles team back then. I mean, Mike Albee and Steve Cook didn't suck.
No, they were great.
Yeah.
And both lefties, but different types of lefties.
Right.
Cook with the power and Ollie with the accuracy.
This lefty, guys, is powerful. He's got split to deal with here. Whoa.
Ooh, comes in high, leaves the 6 and the 8.
6-8 up there, Marshall.
I think it's time for Jesper to make a little bit of a move. I think the lanes are starting to change. Even though he's the only lefty out there, you know, he's pummeling that left lane over and over and over. So he's got to move a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a big old truck tire with snow chains on it. Every time his bowling ball hits the front part of the lane, it just chews up the oil. And you can see that one there reading a little bit too early, and he leaves a 6-8.
And you wouldn't think after the first 2 shots by Prather that they would still be in the game. But if Jesper doesn't make this, it's less than a mark.
Tricky. Doesn't get it. Leaves the 8-pin. So open frame with another open frame. And guys got a 1-pin match.
11 pins.
Arsenal for A squared, the 2018 PBA Player of the Year.
One pin?
Just like that.
My math just as good as ever.
It's okay. We got you covered, Marsh. Don't worry about it. Bringing 10 pin. Wow. On the back of it.
I needed that
almost took out the 10.
Yeah. I was going to use it.
There was a couple of things trying to scare the 10 pin over there, but the 1 pin, the messenger comes in front. Watch this pin action.
Strange pin action.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ring 10 with a messenger coming across. And what was the one thing that Andrew and Chris Prather told us in our meeting this morning? Get the 10 out.
Bro, a lot of game left. Let's go.
Corner pins. Been a theme the entire week here in Tampa. Andrew frustrated, trying to make light of the situation, but you know he wanted that badly.
Yeah, for my money, it doesn't have to be everyone striking all the time. If the match is close, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I agree.
Randy, why are the corner pins so challenging in this bowling center?
It's this bowling center.
It's this bowling center.
And it
That's
has
topography. That's
it's not so much topography as it is the back part of the lane with kick plates and the gutter caps.
Interesting to see this shot. And then he just absolutely laces it for the solid 9.
Well, isn't that usually the way it goes, Marshall? He makes a ball change there, and then he ends up going from light to this ball going right past the 9 pin.
Boy, I love his game. That's a powerful player.
It's a beautiful game, and you know, he can do a lot, but I really like that. He reminds me a little bit of you. Like his starting position's a little bit different, but you know, you always got into that posture with your upper body lean being at whatever degree it was, and it stayed there throughout your entire approach. Like you could put a plate of food on your head and you wouldn't spill a drop. And that's what he looks like when he bowls.
Kyle's going to call business today. And 10 down for Kyle.
That was a little bit past high flush, but fortunately with the urethane, it just held up.
This one looked like it kind of checked a little bit earlier than he wanted, almost like he threw it a little bit slower. And you're right.
Yeah, he was nervous watching that ball roll down the lane.
Another 1/8 of an inch deeper in the pocket, he leaves a 4 pin.
So he's got to continue to move, or maybe it's time for him to try the reactive.
I think you're right.
Let's make a big step left.
Exactly.
Here's his partner, the Iceman. Left lane. Wow. Those pins had none, and I mean no chance against Jesper Svensson. This is fun, guys. Halfway through this match.
Great, man. We got Marshall Holman in the booth with us.
Legend.
Does it get any better than that?
The Medford Meteor. Lava Lanes, nothing like him. Marshall Holman. Dry Track, Randy, powered by Kia. What do you see here?
Anderson using reactive resin. Kyle Troop using non-reactive resin or urethane. You can see a good 5 board difference at the arrows. And the break point about the same. Entry angle at 15 degrees. Or I'm sorry, the 15th board. Now keep in mind the perfect pocket is at 17.5 boards, but you can strike anywhere from 15 to 19 boards. The head pin, the center of the head pin is directly on the 20th board. 39 boards across the lane. They're all about an inch wide, right, Marsh?
You've done this before.
No, I Googled it.
Oh, good for you.
Definitely not.
Do it. Oh.
Anderson hoping for a little help there. Marshall across the deck. Not quite on the 10 pin.
That was
Working on a spare.
He liked that shot.
It looked a little late coming around the corner, didn't it?
A little bit.
And so that's why he left this soft 10. So the 6 pin just goes to the sidewall and quits. Yeah.
So Denise and Mark Roth right now are FaceTiming each other and watching the bowling at the same time.
That's great.
It's awesome.
We wish them well and wish they were here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Marshall Holman, Randy Peterson, Hall of Fame broadcast partners I mean, greatness in a booth here. Legends.
Well, I mean, thanks. I mean, and Marshall's okay, too.
I'm Dave Ryan. We're joined by Kimberly Pressler, of course, providing great interviews and insight throughout our broadcast as well. Good match here, guys. 7th frame.
He made the great shot, left the solid 9. Maybe just a very slight adjustment there, right in the pocket. I'm still looking. I want to see film going back with you with the little rubber bowling balls, putting your fist through the wall, Randy.
That's so much angle. No, Marshall. 20 boards of angle being created right there by Chris Prather. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
Up 13, looking for the turkey, and a 23-pin lead in the 7th.
Big shot here.
Same ball.
Kocher delivers.
Oh, that late love tap of the 10. And nobody was better at that back in my day than Roth. That's why he made it to TV so many times, because he could get that 10-pin out like nobody's business.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the power of Troop, he's not getting that 10 out.
That's right. Yeah, Ernie Schlegel's ball wouldn't have struck there. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that name.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, Randy.
That's a tough one to bring up in this book.
Randy's having flashbacks.
Svensson. Just 10 down again.
Just so dirty. I mean, he's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, Rob.
Just such a unique delivery. I mean, we used to watch this guy get both feet off the ground right as he went into the foul line, and tall, lanky. He's got the tats going, and then the most powerful strike ball on tour.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Won twice in Indy last year. Anderson, wow. Good looking shot with the 9-pin again for Andrew Anderson. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY and the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game.
That last shot wasn't fair. That's just such a great shot that Anderson threw, and he got paid nothing for it.
Yeah. One for each of them on the Anderson Prather team. Got 2 strikes through 8 frames. Troop Svensson working on a 4-bagger.
Struggles for this guy on the left lane early. He's made his adjustments and is striking now. Kent, Tackett are the 2 seeds awaiting the winner of this match. Left lane for Prather. You bet. All 10 down. First TV appearance in 2021 for Chris Prather. As he pointed out today, it's not been the year he's wanted until now.
He's been close, but decent at TSC, just missing out, making the touring players roll-offs in Jupiter. I think he finished 6th.
That ball was significantly further into the pocket than the solid 90 left.
Yeah. But it also looked like it stopped, continuing.
And he said when after he was walking back, he said that looked high, and it was.
Troop Svensson.
Well, that's the only chance that Anderson Prather have. They need to have something catastrophic happen to the Troop Svensson team.
Two, 4, 5. Could have pretty much salted it away with a strike there. .83% conversion rate at this level. Gotta cover him, doesn't.
There's the break.
5 stands, and Marshall, you called it.
Well, I said it was their only chance. I mean, they needed help because Troop and Svensson were dominating.
They got help. Not over yet.
Yeah, double here by Svensson it is, but it's not the ideal position to put your partner in, and Kyle knows that. If Jesper Svensson doesn't double here in the 10th frame, believe it or not, Andrew Anderson can strike out in the 10th and steal this game.
Looks for the first of 2.
Whoa.
Everything but go down, Marshall.
Another great shot. You know, you're right. There's something about this place. It's tough to knock them down. It reminds me of red carpet lanes in Milwaukee back in the day when I can remember leaving 7 flat 10s in a row.
7 straight.
7 straight.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a lot of plaque.
And back then, you were throwing 16 pounds. I mean, most of the players today throw 15. And, but it's hard to believe that that shot there did not strike, and now they're in jeopardy of losing. And how many times have we seen spares or missed spares cost players wins, championships, and now let's see if it holds true for Troop and Svensson. If Jesper Svensson strikes on this ball,
You need 2 and 9.
he'll need 2 and 9.
Did Svensson take a re-rack?
He did.
And Troop feels terrible. He feels like he's let us. He thinks he's let him down, which might be.
And I think if you were to ask Kyle, he would want this victory more for that man right there than himself.
Totally agree with that.
Yep.
The 26-year-old from Sweden does get that strike.
I was always much more selfish than Kyle. I wanted it for me.
First one's good enough, too.
Not so much for Mark.
No, we wanted it for each other.
Yeah, I understand.
Absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely.
It's a PBA title. It's a big deal.
Yep.
2 strikes and 9 to win.
And Anderson's looked really good over the last few shots.
I mean, he's got to feel very fortunate to be in this situation right now.
Yeah, he had to feel like there was going to be no chance, but that opened it up.
Gotta have it. Gets one.
Is that any good, Randy?
Perfect.
Take your time.
Tattoos the 1-3 pocket. 60 feet, guys, to success for Anderson. Now one more.
Kyle,
Great shot to win this match. It'll be a huge comeback.
yeah, Kyle's still there with his hand over his eyes.
Can't
and
watch.
He can't. No.
Could you watch in moments like this?
Oh, I love to torture myself. I watched.
Strike and 9.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
He does it. Wow. Trip 10, and there's the strike for Anderson. Now 9 pins needed for a win. Wants a re-rack.
Well, this was almost 9.
It's the ringing 10 that wasn't, Randy.
Yeah.
All the time you want.
Made 2 great shots when he needed them. And you heard him say, do it, do it, do it.
Look
that was,
at
that was
that.
It was a fraction from being a ring 10.
It was a ringing 10. Yeah.
Look at that. I like the fact that he's taking a re-rack after getting a little emotional.
Settle it down.
Absolutely.
He's a pro. He's got this lane wired. The very worst that should happen right now is a solid 10, solid 8.
9 to win it. How about 9? How about a win?
It's out time, baby!
Wow. Shots. Anderson, Prather advance. The defending champs are knocked out in the second match. Wow.
Player of the year right there.
Chris Prather said it, guys. Returning to his POI for Player of the Year. Who's next? Speaking of Player of the Year, E.J. Tackett and the young stud himself, Marshall Kent. All right, right, Randy, Spare the Game is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Mortgage rates historically low. Save money at rate.com today. It's not always a happy ending with our Guaranteed Rate Spare of the Game. A really tough miss for Kyle Troop, but Andrew Anderson, guys, really took advantage.
Well, he really did. He took advantage of a big opening. Remember the blower 10 pin by Jesper Svensson that gave him this opportunity, and then Anderson steps up brilliantly in the 10th frame.
He did, and you know, he only had a couple of strikes going into that 10th frame, but he'd been right there in the pocket, solid 9, you know, close the whole game, and given the opportunity, given life, and he walked right through the door.
Bowling out of Nob Hill Bowl in Yakima, Washington, Marshall Kent. His partner rolls out of Easy Bowl in Bluffton, Indiana, E.J. Tackett.
The power pack duo of Tackett and Kent are back as the number 2 seeds again. This team is long overdue for a doubles title, finishing second twice to Jesper Svensson and Kyle Troop. Well, they won't have to worry about that this year. Will 2021 be their time? We're going to find out.
And we know, Randy, these two are ready to rock. 28 years old, 8th year pro. Physical tools, one of the most talented bowlers out there. In terms of the titles, hasn't happened yet, Marshall.
Yeah, and he kind of reminds me of another Marshall from the Northwest who gets a little amped up towards the end of the game, and the ball goes a little long sometimes. I remember that happened to me back in my day.
Marshall Kent. Oh, that's way wide and miss. The target not close to the 1-3 pocket. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10.
2 ways to make this. You can put your ball left of the head pin, and you can drive that head pin into the 6-10, or you can go in between. Get the ball in the 1-3 and use deflection.
Lot to cover here, guys.
Kind of like that.
What a conversion for Marshall Kent early here.
Man, it's too bad we already did the Guaranteed Rate Spare of the day, because that was it.
You can make 2. Why not?
Yeah, I'm making another one.
That's a big lift coming back for him.
Well, we saw this in our last match with Prather when he left the 2-4-8-10 and just too much angle, not giving the ball enough time to come around the corner, but a brilliant spare.
Anderson pumped after winning the last match. Good start, right lane in his second match of the day with Chris Prather. He said, guys, it's our time. He was pumped.
He was very
I
love seeing the enthusiasm. That was great.
Let's see if Chris Prather can have a better start to this game.
Randy, looks like there's more hang on that left-hand lane than there is on the right.
They have to get so deep, Marshall, and create so much angle that if they get it a fraction too far to the right, it's not making it.
Prather. That's better.
You're right. He is way inside. 25th board.
You're way over there.
I mean, it's 21 boards to the right, and then it has to come back another 11 or 12. And you can see it's just inside of 5th arrow, but the laydown is right next to the gutter.
Yeah, I see that. Wow.
Probably on.
So deep inside. That is ball reaction, guys. Wow. What movement at the end of that shot.
Okay, thank you.
For Chris Prather. So his adjustments appear to be paying off left lane. Now E.J. Tackett competed yesterday at the World Championship, not the result he wanted. Back at it today, just like Kyle Troop.
Bye, boy. Let's go, boy.
Take a look at some of these great numbers we get from Specto and Lane Talk. For more information on the great numbers you can get at Lane Talk, go to lanetalk.com. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how EJ rebounds from yesterday. I mean, he's emotionally a really strong guy, and I know how upset he was after his performance yesterday. Much better. Didn't get it quite as far to the right. You can see the break point.
Well inside.
I have no idea what they're saying.
can't believe you stole that from me.
Anyway, the break point has to be left of about 4.5 to 5.
Anderson. Yes. $10,000 team bonus is on the line for a 300 if we get that far. Some extra motivation for our great bowlers here today in Tampa.
So, Randy, did EJ accidentally re-rack?
I'm being told that EJ accidentally hit the reset
button.
So he's being charged for a re-rack for his team.
So one left for that team.
Roll.
Oh, talk about his solid 9 is such a bad break, but wow, look at that one. That was a wonderfully gifted break to Mr. Prather. The 10 pin's not going to fall. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Sure
yes, it is, Marshall.
And Marsh, throughout your career, how many times have you seen Mr. Momentum change his address? One bad thing happens, you never recover. The team or that player takes full advantage of it.
Yeah, happens too often.
Oh, bringing 10 pin.
Need to throw it like
That's the momentum for the other team right there.
Well, and if you want to be real, I mean, that was a much better shot in terms of how it entered the pocket than Prather's. Prather strikes, he leaves a ring tag.
Yeah.
EJ got together with some bowling buddies last night. Steaks on the grill. Just relaxed. Try to forget about what happened in the World Championship.
All right, man.
In a while,
Let's
as
go.
we talked about in the air, guys, yesterday, 2019, the PBA Tour Finals in Vegas, his last title. For such a talented guy, and for Marshall Kent, Randy, also, it's a surprise.
Hang on a minute.
So long.
Hang on a minute. They had friends over and steaks and a cookout.
I didn't get
barbecue.
invited. Did you get invited?
No.
Did you get invited, Marshall?
I was not there.
Okay.
I
Other bowling friends, then.
I'm going to have a word with him.
I think you should. Arsenal for Marshall Kent. Pure power. Right at you. 10 down.
How about the fortunate roll of the 4-pin?
Yeah. I mean, EJ leaves at ring 10. He trips the 4 out. Light mixer for Prather. And Anderson's dead flush every ball.
And my mom in Eugene is watching the show right now. And today is my father's birthday.
Covers the 4-pin nicely. Let's see if we can get a look at his release and what he's doing to create this side rotation, guys. See his hand behind it. Now watch what he does on the way through. He's getting around it pretty good, and that's because he's so deep, he's got to create more side rotation to get that ball to go to the right and then be able to recover. If it was more end-over-end roll, it would never make it back to the head pin.
Got it.
Midway point of this match, Randy, and this could be a great finish again in Tampa. What's better? Not much. PBA on FS1. 30-pin lead. Anderson Prather had the front 5. Then 9th Barrett, 6th frame. EJ Tackett. His partner Marshall Kent enter the 6th, working on a strike.
Speaking of clutch, did you know Marshall Holman's in the booth with us?
I did know that.
Okay,
the
good.
Medford Meteor himself was with us.
Checking.
Don't you
Hall
agree
of Famer
this?
Marshall Holman. Hall of Famer Randy Peters.
He needs this strike right here. This has got to go.
Really? 3-4-7, unusual lead.
He didn't think it was that bad off his hand, Randy.
Yeah, it really jumped hard left once it got down lane. You can see the break point, but he's got a decision to make, and I think he has to go for this, don't you, Marshall?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he risked getting 7 out, but they need a mark.
Challenging spare conversion. No. 4-7 stands. Open frame. Game changer. Our strike track, Randy, powered by Kia.
Well, take a look right here where Chris Prather is playing. Remember I told you there's 39 boards on the lane? Yeah, well, that's how deep Prather is. Kent, a good 7 boards right at the laydown. And you can see it a little bit different there. 3 boards at the arrows, and then the break point, again, he's much steeper entering the pocket. Got it to that ledge again.
Yeah, and it stayed light. He leaves the 210, and Tackett's last shot was about a half-mile-per-hour slower than his previous rolls. That's what jumped that ball through the nose.
And it could have slowed down because it got to friction sooner.
Yeah.
Right? So once the ball reaches friction, it slows down. But
210, tough to make here, guys. Just the 2.
I mean, the location looked okay, so maybe that's part of the lane getting a little bit drier. Take a look at how Andrew Anderson is playing that right lane right over third arrow, and you can see just how much deeper EJ is and much more angle, and that's because of the difference of the rev rate.
Look at the lead now for Anderson Prather. Avoiding a split, 4-pin stands for Andrew Anderson. 7th frame. He's trying to stay clean here and hoping to cruise to victory. Third match.
Well, Dave, Marshall and I were talking about the right lane, and EJ thinking he threw a good shot his last time up on that right lane here. Andrew Anderson goes high. The lane's breaking down.
Yeah.
There's a lot more friction created to the right. Andrew Anderson will make a move.
3 times prior that EJ Tackett, Marshall Kent have been in this event. They've been the 2 seed. Unable, it appears again, to win their first title as a doubles tandem.
Good ball speed.
The modern game brings up so many challenges. These players have to be, they got to be like rocket scientists as far as knowing what ball to throw, what zone to jump to, and when to do it.
Oh, 7-10. No, just the 7. How late did that 10-pin go down?
You heard him say good ball speed, and he got a little more loft into that shot, but he has to, because if he lays it down early, it could go into the left gutter. But a nice break here, rolling the 10 late, and 9 spare will do them quite nicely right now.
Yeah,
they're in the 230s. The max score for EJ Tack and Marshall Kent, 2-team.
Yeah, they're in definite control, and
Hey, that was a really good line.
for Tackett and Kent,
I think you're supposed to.
they must strike, and then they'll need lots of help.
Yeah.
He moved left.
Big time. Position at the arrows changed. Created more angle.
A couple boards left was his adjustment. That man in the background, Andrew Anderson, he said it's our time. He very well could be right. Looks like they're going to cruise
looking good, Marsh,
into
for
the
them.
title match.
Kent and Tackett lost last year in Indy to Troop and Svensson, 234-205. Portland, Maine, they lost the same dynamic duo, 279-195. And again, the attempt to win their first doubles title looks like it's going to fall short. Anderson in the right lane. Across the deck, no help on the 10 this time.
And as he gets pushed further and further in,
His ball gets later and later.
so what is the adjustment Andrew Anderson's going to make so that his ball doesn't push too far down the lane? He moved 2 boards left on that shot right there, or prior to the last time he struck on that right lane. And now he's got to figure out the same kind of thing, Marshall. You hit on it perfectly. So much micromanaging in today's game.
But he has time to do that because of their big lead.
Show me one.
He can experiment a little bit.
Just 5 pins needed for a win for Prather and Andrew Anderson. E.J. Tackett, who had so many top 10 finishes last year. 4th time, as we talked about, as the number 2 seed. They'll come up empty again because Prather and company have ended this one. Match 3 goes to Clark Kent himself and Andrew Anderson.
UC2? I got it. Set.
B.J. Moore, Tom Doherty, the top seeds. Can Tampa Tom do it again, Randy?
We're going to find out, aren't we?
It's going to be awesome. Won a major yesterday. How about another title today, Tom? We'll find out. The 2 trophies, Roth Holman doubles championship trophies, are waiting to be handed out by the legend Marshall Holman and signed with a Sharpie. Is a Sharpie ready, Marshall?
Sharpie's ready.
Excellent.
So I've been told.
Step ladder bracket, there it is. The top seeds, Moore, Doherty against Anderson, Prather. Our uninterrupted coverage here on FS1 of the championship match is on the way.
Bowling out of Oakfield Lanes in Brandon, Florida, Tom Doherty. His partner rolls out of Maine Bowling Center in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, B.J. Moore.
Well, Doherty and Moore, this is their 2nd year competing together, and the timing couldn't be better for B.J. Moore. Doherty owns University Lanes. Have I told you that? Have I told you that before, Dave?
You have told
Marshall?
me that before.
Well, guess what? Doherty coming off of his most spectacular victory ever yesterday. My advice to BJ, saddle up, buckaroo.
I think he is. I watched some of the bowling yesterday on my flight. They had live TV on the plane.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Marshall, this is one of the most beautiful games on the PBA Tour.
B.J. Moore, the loft, left lane, good start.
He's strong.
He just absolutely cables it, and it doesn't look like he does a thing.
Yeah.
It's like watching Rory McIlroy swing a golf club. Absolutely cups that elbow and wrist at the bottom and then unleashes just raw fury into the pins. It's real pretty to watch.
Response from Anderson. You made a perfect shot.
And
Anderson's
ball is strong, but he's more of a throwback stroker than the new power, just beat the daylights out of it kind of players.
Couldn't agree more.
Climb the ladder. Chris Prather last year. Just outside Akron to win the TOC. His first career major.
Stay right, ball. Stay
His
right,
4th
ball.
title today.
Well, that popped out.
Oh, there it is.
That popped out of his thumb, and that was, talk about a good break. Could have been a 4-9, could have been a big 4. It's a double.
Yeah, you heard Anderson saying, stay right, ball, and it stayed right enough to trip the 4-7-10 late.
Tampa Tom. Major Tom steps up here. Leaves the 2-pin.
Well,
Randy, he grew up in basically Marshall. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't want to make your first shot a bad one, because now are you adjusting for a bad shot? Are you adjusting because the lanes have changed? It causes a little bit of wonderment.
I honestly think that was an arrow right of where he wanted it.
Come on. Pick me up.
That was the farthest shot right of any ball we've seen on the right lane today.
Come on.
And this time he doesn't get the 2-pin to trip late.
With a major on the line in the 10th. Arsenal for BJ from suburban Pittsburgh. Just outside Latrobe, hometown of one Arnold Palmer.
You bet.
Steeler territory there. BJ had very strong opinions about Ben Roethlisberger's future. As in, he'd like him maybe to move on.
Boy, that's a nice looking ball, Randy.
I mean, he looks even sexier when he's not having to throw it halfway down the lane because you can barely hear the ball hit the floor.
Yeah.
But this is how talented this young man is. I mean, he can throw it, he can loft it to the arrows, he can get it down quick, he can get up the back, he can rotate. I mean, he's got all the tricks, and I think that once BJ realizes just how good BJ is, he's going to win out here, and he's going to win a lot.
Agreed.
What a year it was for Anderson in 2018. Chris Schenkel Player of the Year. Wow. With
That
shots
ball-
just like that.
That ball stopped just in time. Does he have to make another little move? Maybe not a little move, a big move left.
Well, I mean, I think he does, but I'm not sure how big because remember, if he moves too much, he runs the risk of the ball pushing too far down the lane. But you're right. That one looked like it got to about the 1.3.5 and then put the brakes on.
Yeah.
Show me when you're back. Come on.
$50,000 bonus for the team that rolls a 300 game on our show today. Yep.
It popped again.
I think he's trying to stay in it as long as he can just to get that extra loft. And, you know, he really likes doing this. I mean, he enjoys getting way in, lofting it, slow looping it to the right. But this is the big shot here for Moore and especially for Tom Doherty.
Oh, boy.
Wasn't sure about it.
He wasn't sure about it, and I thought that was going to be the right location. And that was a good 3 boards left of his last shot.
I didn't get it right early.
3 boards left of the laydown and way for the left, the break point. Did you get around that a little bit, Randy? Looked like on that replay.
Yeah, maybe just a pinch, which
Keep us in
just
it.
delayed the
Keep us in it. Let's go.
hook just enough. But let me just clarify something about BJ Moore as he steps up to the left lane. I know BJ has won 1 title.
Right.
It was, I believe it was a live stream title.
In Delaware.
In Delaware. So before, yeah, it was the Wilmington Open. And I want to say it was Wilmington, North Carolina. And so I do realize, folks, before you beat me up on social media, I know he has a title. I'm talking about him winning on national
Wilmington
television.
Open 2019.
Winning on national television in big-time events. Perfect.
Come on, man.
Wow.
Three
Let's go. We're
great
not dead yet.
shots from Moore.
Not dead yet.
Feeling it.
You know, Randy, I lived in an era without social media. I don't know if I could have taken it. They would have destroyed me. In fact, they still do sometimes, and that's okay.
Shout out to all watching today at Faldo's Restaurant, family restaurant of the Moores in suburban Pittsburgh.
What do they serve?
Area.
What do they serve there, Dave?
Oh, it's got to be good. Everything good. 10-pin tap, down it goes.
Whoa. That was friendly, Randy.
Very friendly. They're catching all the breaks right now. The trip 4s, the trip 4 7-10s. Love tap on the 10 right here. Look at that. 10-pin felt like it got hit by lightning.
Show me one here, bud. Show me one. Come on.
And who's the only person not to strike so far? Tampa Tom.
Major Tom.
Major Tom. Ground control.
Need it. Remember this match in its entirety.
Go.
Come on!
Another
That's a wow moment there, Randy.
Another great hit, another great catch. And this all started when...
Well, Kyle Troup missed a 2-4-5.
Correct. Remember, in that match... Remember in that match where Anderson needed a double in the 10th, right? He gets up and almost leaves that ring in 10. And then it's just, they run over E.J. Tackett and Marshall Kent, and now they've got the front six in the title match. I mean,
the momentum has only grown.
Oh, it's like a snowball rolling down Mount Everest. I mean, they're catching every single hit and every break you can imagine.
They won in match play en route to this championship match. We started this entire event, guys, with 48 teams. 46 games per team were bowled to get to the final 5 through qualifying and Baker format match play. BJ Moore didn't like it. That's why 210.
Yeah, he missed it off his hand at the bottom. He didn't catch it, and he knew it. Got a little quick and aggressive with it, and so now the ball pushes farther down the lane before it comes around the corner. All he's going to do is try to get the ball over to the left side of the 2-pin and cut it into the 10. Going to the tape, taping up that thumb. That may have been the reason why he missed it at the bottom.
We have 2 boards further right down lane,
yeah,
so it couldn't recover.
And I'm thinking it's because he missed it, right?
Yeah.
So it went right through that spot where it was recovering off of.
Needs it and misses it way wide left. Not close. Open frame.
All right. That's my bad.
Anderson Prather, a perfect game. Through 6.
We're on 300 watch right now because it doesn't look good for the Doherty team.
You know, guys, and let me just point out, it wasn't too long ago that this man was Player of the Year.
Correct. 2 titles that year. His 2nd full year on tour, 2018. Perfect game. No, the 2-pin wobbles, but stands.
If I was from Tampa, do I get it?
$10,000 bonus. There's a reference to yesterday's miraculous trip 2-pin for Doherty to win the World Championship against Jacob Buttriff. Oh, look right back to him. Where's that break that you got?
Mr. Anderson is quite comfortable being on TV right now.
This guy struggled for a couple of years, guys, trying to get back.
Show him, all right? Make the move, trust it.
Pin action, some lucky breaks.
Yeah, some great breaks, man. Here's a trip 4-7-10 for Prather.
Go.
Solid 9 that wasn't to be. And remember, they were all on strikes.
Yeah.
Roll.
Prather trying to keep it going. Does just that with a strike. On the left lane, getting closer to victory. Marshall, it's been great to have you in the booth with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for coming all the way from Oregon to join us for this great event.
Marshall,
Well, I'm here because I love bowling and because I love Mark Roth. Thanks, Randy.
We love you too, man.
always
Great
an
to
honor.
see you.
Always an honor, my friend. Always great seeing you.
Marshall's going to head down to the lanes now to present those trophies and get the Sharpie ready.
And on the good one. Yeah, man.
To sign them. Great to see Marsh in the booth with us. He's heading on down.
What an honor. I mean, to grow up bowling to grow up idolizing him, and then to grow up bowling at one point, making it to the tour and being able to compete against him. And now we've been friends for over 30 years. I mean, it's just been an amazing run to think that this guy that I used to idolize as a kid would someday turn out to be one of my good friends. That's better.
Still Lofton left lane. And yes, all 10 down for B.J. Moore.
That's better.
A lot better.
Yeah, B.J. wanted that. Boy, if anything, if you could take a mulligan there in the, what frame is that, Cecil? I can't see. If he could take a mulligan in the 7th frame, he would sure like to take one right now. But there's a lot of Anderson Prather striking going on.
Double your fun on the trophies. About to be passed out by the legend Marshall Holman. Andrew Anderson, 4-7 this time. Only 25 years old. From just outside Ann Arbor, you bet he's a big Michigan fan. Bummed that Isaiah Livers is hurt for the Wolverines and Juwan Howard. Selection Sunday, Randy. About an hour away. Syracuse fans a little nervous right now.
I'm sure you guys will be fine. You still have Boeheim, right?
Yeah, we sure do.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, Michigan's going to be a high seed. Don't worry about that.
Well, you can see the max score there, 259-224. Remember, Anderson Prather already in the 240s. All that's left is the math. 3 pins and it's done. I think Prather can handle that.
He sure can.
I'll tell you what, it would have been a lot more interesting if this game was close coming down the stretch, because Anderson looked like he lost his reaction, and I'm not sure there's much more room left on that left lane. But guess what? That's not the story. The story is these two guys overcoming adversity and capturing this title.
Chris Prather, Andrew Anderson win the 2021 Roth Holman PBA Doubles Championship here in Tampa, Florida.
We fucking did it. We did it. Great ball. Great ball, man. Absolutely.
4th title for Prather, 3rd for Anderson. They're back in the winner's circle. And they spoil the possibility of Tom Doherty in his home center winning 2 titles in 2 days.
I told you, man. You give me another chance and we're going to win it.
We only needed 2.
We've got a new champion.
Oh, we got to have math.
In the Mark Roth Marshall Holman PBA Doubles event in 2021.
Team second place. You called it.
Which one of those?
We committed to it way too much. We got him?
Is it time to grab the trophies? Woo! All right, Marshall, there you go.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's been a while since we were waiting to see you were going to get drafted in that tournament, remember?
Yeah, it's been a while.
You've come a ways.
Thank you.
Champions again, Anderson and Prather. And Kimberly Pressler is ready with Marshall Holman and our champions today. Kimberly.
Marshall, thank you so much. You did the trophy presentation, and as soon as I'm done talking to these guys, I know that they're going to want you to sign that.
I got the pen right here. It'd be my privilege.
Perfect. So, guys, let's... Wow, there was so much that happened through today. But let's start for that first match, because, listen, you came through in clutch moments when Kyle left that open in the 9th. Walk us through that, because from our perspective, I was like, are these guys going to be able to pull it through? And you did.
Yeah, I mean, sitting there in the chair going into the 9th frame, I bet you both of us thought it was just about over. And when he left the 2-4-5, I was like, there's a chance. I mean, does Kyle really miss that? I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime miss for him. I mean, he's not going to do that very often. That was a gift. You have to take advantage of that. When they give you a gift like that on the lanes, you take advantage of it. And I was so happy to just throw a couple good ones.
And you guys took advantage of that for sure. Now, one thing that we talked about earlier is you said your guys' communication between you two is key. I heard you guys talking to each other all throughout. Chris, you struggled a little bit at the start of the matches. So what did you guys talk about to bounce back from that?
Yeah, for me to start, I was a little confused as to what exactly I wanted to do on the lanes. And obviously the first one, I almost threw into the Gulf of Mexico. I checked, it is that direction. He was able to calm me down and help me feel my legs as I'm walking to the approach. So that's kind of what we were talking about the first half the game, and then settled in and got really comfy and had some really good shots afterwards.
After you threw that last shot, you literally took a deep breath and you look completely relieved. Congratulations, you guys are now champion.
I love it. Did you do the honors, sir?
Sign those trophies,
Absolutely.
Marshall. Now that's a keepsake, Randy. And what a day for these two.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they executed brilliantly, made the right moves. And quite honestly, after getting past Troop and Svensson, they were never really tested.
Guaranteed Rate PBA Tour continues. We saw the shows coming up. PBA Cheetah Championship tomorrow, 8 Eastern here at FS1. Stay tuned for Athletes Unlimited Volleyball. 44 of the world's top women vying to be the 2021 champion. Now for Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, Marshall Holman, and the entire crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long for now from Tampa, Florida. You've been watching the PBA on FS1.